A lot of people don't appreciate the advantages of Europe because they take them for granted.
Jenny is 22 and studies German and political science in Berlin.
People have to understand that Europe, I mean the EU, has a big impact on their everyday lives. What a lot of people don't know is that the European Parliament is directly elected, which means it's the EU's only legitimate tool.
Vincent is 19 and currently taking his A-levels. He wants to do European studies in Maastricht. In June, both of them will be casting their first ever ballot in the European elections, and they hope many other young voters will do the same. Along with other members of the Young European Federalists, they're campaigning on the streets of Berlin.
We're different because we're not trying to talk them into anything. We don't say vote for Conservatives or vote for the Socialists. All we say is, hey, we don't want anything from you. All we want for you is to vote in the European elections, and people like that.
Less than 1 in 4 18 to 22-year-olds are planning on voting in the European elections. Among Europeans at large, the figure is less than 1 in 3, an all-time low.
I've heard nothing about it and wouldn't know who to vote for anyway.
People complain, but if they don't vote, they can't change things, can they?
I think most young people are disappointed with politics because you get the impression that nothing really changes.
The main problem for most is to decide who to vote for. 375 million Europeans are eligible to vote, almost 10% of them for the first time. A lot of first-time voters feel overwhelmed by the choice. Half of them will follow their parents' advice. Political analyst Régis Dandois says political parties are partly responsible.
Young voters are unstable. They often change allegiance because they don't know the parties or the candidates very well. So parties don't invest too much money, time or energy into young voters. Political parties are in part responsible for young people's lack of interest in politics. It's important to motivate tomorrow's voters. They'll be voting for another 40 or 50 years. They need to be interested in politics and in Europe.
Studies show that young people are those who have the most trust in the European Parliament. The fact that they don't vote is nothing new, but could be a problem.
Traditionally, young people are less politically active than older voters, so that's nothing to worry about. What can happen, though, is that we risk losing an entire generation. If we fail to motivate them today, we risk losing their vote for good when it comes to the European elections.
In Belgium, like in Greece and Luxembourg, voting is compulsory. No one will admit they don't intend to vote, but not everyone knows the date of the election, and many say they're poorly informed.
In Belgium, people have completely lost interest in politics, and that includes the European elections.
I'm poorly informed. I don't really know what it's about. I can't really talk about it.
I don't think there's much information about it. We don't talk about it much in classes. It's a subject of general interest and should be part of every class. We're in favour of Europe, but you'll get different opinions depending on who you talk to and how well informed they are.
So what do young people want from Europe? Dozens of campaigns are underway across Europe to try to find the answer to that question and motivate voters. The largest of these campaigns is organised by a student forum in Brussels. The aim of Why Vote 09 is not just to inform first-time voters, but also to give them a voice.
Every 2 weeks, we bring young people from all 27 EU member states to a different city in Europe to talk about these issues for a week. In the end, this collection of youth opinion on all these topics, which we call Youth Agenda 2009, will be presented to all members of the new European Parliament, and we hope that together with them we will work in the next 5 years to make these ideas of young people realities of their life.
Mana Livajani from Café Babel, an internet magazine in 5 languages, says young people talk about a range of topics on the online forums dedicated to the elections, especially education.
Elections or not, it's always the same topics that are important for young people, in particular education with the Bologna process. There are lots of movements against it. It's about access to jobs. With the crisis, a whole bunch of people are going to leave university without the assurance of getting a job afterwards.
Other topics include the environment, climate change and energy. The European Parliament has its say on most European legislation. It should inform people better, she says.
It's a long-term job which needs to be worked on over 5 years and not just in the month leading up to the elections. The question is, so what has the European Parliament achieved?
Inspired by the success of Barack Obama's recent presidential campaign, the European Parliament has turned to social networking websites like MySpace and Facebook in a bid to reach out to young people. Abstention could be a sign of contentment, but it shouldn't reflect apathy, says Julia from the Berlin-based campaign group EPP-ED. Her team of so-called election gangsters has visited some 80 schools across Germany.
Some say they vote because they have the feeling Europe is generally important, that the European Parliament represents the people and that it's the only way to take part. Others say each election is equally important and everybody should use their right to vote. It's a question of principle. And some say they directly experience the advantages of Europe.
EPP-ED was founded 7 years ago by political science students from Berlin with the aim of encouraging communication about politics.
We're not trying to spread the idea that Europe is a land of milk and honey. Not everything the European Parliament decides is positive. There are also scandals and decisions which may not benefit everyone.
More openness and courage, that's also what Percy Vogel from another Berlin-based organisation, More Democracy, wants. The aim is in the name. Europe needs more democracy and should take more risks, he says.
What makes a national election exciting is the knowledge that the results will lead to coalitions and the creation of a new government. It might lead to a change in politics and politicians will be held accountable. None of that happens at the European Parliament.
The author of a book on how to mend democracy in Europe, Percy advocates more direct participation through referenda.
As voter participation increases, the decision procedure becomes more binding. Until now, the EU has been shy of giving citizens real power. In terms of democracy, Europe does not take enough risks.
Although EU elections register record low turnouts, young people are the most convinced Europeans, according to polls. For Jenny and Vincent, the EU remains a question of head and heart, just like hip-hop. Just days before Europe Day, they organised a concert. The weather was nice, but here again, turnout was low.
Of course, I hope that many people will take part in the elections, among them many young people, including my friends. I hope people will see it as a social event and that they'll go and vote and then perhaps go for a coffee together, as it will be a nice day in June.
For me too, turnout's the most important factor. I want to make sure everyone around me will vote, even if I have to drag them to the polling station myself.